Hi guys, it's Winston here. Today my topic is about the Nadars of South India or the Jews of South India. There's a lot of misconception, wrong information given about this community for a very long time. Today we are going to remove all those misconceptions, wrong information, and I'm going to tell you the truth, who these Nadars are, where do they come from, and what are the things this Nada community has done to Tamil Nadu and the whole of South India for the last 3,000 years. So many of those naysayers and people who talk bad mouth about this community is going to shut them out after watching this video. This video has taken more than 5 years for me to do the research from different websites, talking to different people all over the world, people who are biased, prejudiced, and people who love this beautiful community. So just to let you know, to start with, the Nadars of South India are the most prospering community in India. They are very similar to the Jews of the world. The Jews as a whole, they suffered a lot, persecutions, but doesn't matter what happens, like the phoenix, they always come out of the ashes and they rule the world. The economy is in the hand. The Hollywood is in the hand. The banks are in the hand. Everything you talk about is in the hands of the Jews. And the same thing you see, anything that's happening in Tamil Nadu or in southern India or in India, Nadars have a big part to play. The Nadars have done extremely well in education, extremely well in business. They are great entrepreneurs. They are great philanthropists. If you see Shiv Nada, I'm talking about one gentleman, he has given $1.5 billion US dollars for charity. My question is, are there any other caste in Tamil Nadu or Kerala who talks negative about this community, has given anything? They have swindled, taken money from the government. They robbed the country. But this Nadar community has given so much. Do you know in 2013, the Nadar community created more jobs than the Tamil Nadu government? If you see in the southern part of Tamil Nadu, 69% of all the schools, colleges, institutions, medical colleges, universities are all run by Nadars. 69%. And if you go to Madras city, Chennai is one of the biggest cities in India. I think that it is the third or fourth largest city in India. 35% of all the schools, colleges, engineering college, and university is run by Nadars. And 34% of all schools, colleges, educational institutions in Tamil Nadu are run by Nadars. At the same thing, it's also happening in Trivandrum, Koilon, and Kottayam in Kerala states. Because the Nadars are mostly concentrated in places like Kollam, Trivandrum in Kerala state, Kanyakumari district, Tuticorin, Tirunelveli, Sivagasi, Virudhunagar, Madurai, and those areas in Tamil Nadu. It's also a huge concentration of Nadars in Madras city, Coimbatore, Tanjore, Tiruchirappalli. Wherever is a city, you will see a lot of Nadar community. Nadars are a very prospering community. They are a very blessed community. You see, wherever Nadars go, wherever they stay, that place will become prosperous. They are a blessed community. But there's a lot of prejudice against this community. In Kerala, the Nair community is always against the Nadar community. There's a lot of jealousy and hatred among each other. Nadars doesn't hate them, but the Nairs always are jealous of the Nadar community. We'll talk about it in the coming video. And the same thing in Tamil Nadu is very common. Some of the so-called upper caste use the lower caste and the backward caste and the so-called lower caste and the backward caste to go against the Nadars. It happened for many, many, many years. Now, very interestingly, these Nadar institutions, who comes and studies them? Other caste. And Nadars open the door for them. Education in Tamil Nadu is brought by the Nadar community. Do you know that the first English medium was brought to the schools by a Nadar? So anything you talk about education, anything you talk about business, is the Nadar community. They've done extremely well, and they are never prejudiced or biased towards any other race. You can talk anything about this Nadar community, however, they will never say anything about you because they come from a royal family. I'm going to explain to you why I use the word royalty. Nadar is only a community. So when you talk about a Brahmin, a Iyer, a Thevar, Gounder, Nair, Shettiar, they all are caste. But Nada is a community. There are 6 subsects in the Nadar community. The first 4 are of the Nadan caste. They come from the same father, mother, same blood. But the last 2, which is Kala and Kadakal, they are not of the Nadar blood. They used to be the slaves and workers of the Nadan community. The Nadan, if you see, there are 4 types of Nadan. The first one is Karkupattai Nadan. The second one, they are the they were the Pandyan kings those days. The Pandya kingdom was established in Trichandur and the border of Kanyakumari district. The Karkupattai Nadan are based in that area. Later on, they moved all over Tamil Nadu, Kerala. There's plenty of them in Kanyakumari district, plenty in Tuticorin, Tirunelveli, Trivandrum district, Kollam. They moved around, and there are plenty in Bombay and all over the world. You see Patanadan community. The second one is called Melnata. The Melnata are mostly based in Kolasegarapattinam, Palliadi, Marthandam, Eranial, those areas in Kanyakumari district and Neyatingara, Parasala, those areas. So they are the Melnata. They also come from the same blood of the Karkupattai Nadan. And the third one we call the Natati Nadan. They are actually they say they're from the Chola dynasty. From the Karkupattai Nadan came the Chera and the Chola dynasty. Now, most of the Natati Nadan, you can see them in Tuticorin, Tanjore area, and a lot of them in Agasthiswaram and Arroy area in Kanyakumari district as well. 3. And the last one is the Nelamankara Nadars. The Nelamankara Nadars are mostly seen those days in Tirunelveli near the Tamirabani River area. They're very successful businessmen, landlords. They own thousands of acres of land. Wherever they go, they buy land, they own land. They always call noblemen landlords. So these 4 are the cousins. They come from the same mom and dad, and they are called the Nadan caste. Actually, they don't normally call us the Nadan caste. They call the Nadan royalty. And the last 2, which is the Kala and the Kadakal. Kadakal actually, they are the tapas. They were the slaves of the Nadan community for thousands of years. Because the Nelamankara Nadan and the Kadakal and the Natati Nadan owned thousands and thousands of acres of land. These Kadakal were the tappers. They're real tappers. They worked for this Nadan community. They originally came from Tanjore, the Kaveri belt, when the Chola dynasty was, when the Pandya dynasty was very strong. These people moved and worked for this Northern community. Most of them were actually tapists, flag bearers, and they were also palanquin bearers as well. So they were very loyal to their masters, and the Northern community really loved the Kadakal community. And then the last one is called Kala. Kala is actually they came from the northern part of Tamil Nadu. They're all tapas as well. So they also moved when in 1280, when the Chola dynasty lost its power to the Pandya king, the Chola dynasty moved towards the Tirunelveli Tirunelveli area. So most of these Kala also moved because they owned vast areas of land. So wherever the masters were, the laborers went as well. So the Kalla and Kadakal, they are a part of the Nadar community, but they are not of the Nadan blood. So even now, the Nadan community will never marry a Kalla or Kadakal. They normally say, there's a name for it I heard, it's called Pulka. That means they are not Nadars, they are from other South Indian caste. They can be Tamil, Malayali, or Telugu. They moved from Sama, but they are very loyal to the masters, the Nadan masters, and they served for them for 5, 6, 700, 800 years. And because of that, in the 19th century, when the name Nadar was used for a community, it doesn't include just the Nadan, the Karkapattai Nadan, the male Natar, the Natati Nadar and Nalamenkara Nadar. It also included the Kadakal and the Kala. So the Kadakal and Kala, though they are not of the Nadan blood, they still are classified as a Nadar community because they served the Nadar for maybe 600 to 800 years. They have become part of the Nadan community and now they call Nadars. And there's a lot of persecution happened to this Kadakal and Kala community. Reason because they were actually Palmara tappers and climbers, and they don't live in groups. They live one, two family in one area. So the other caste had this upper hand because they are more in number. They come in hundreds and 500 and 1,000 to attack these small groups. And it's nothing but a shame on them because attacking a one or two family and saying I'm upper caste and whatever it is, it's a shame on those community who has done that to this community. So there was some persecution happening in many parts of this area where these Kalla and Kadakal were there. But at the same time, the Nadan also suffered in many areas because it happened in one of the Sivakasi area, a couple of places when the Tamil community didn't allow, especially the Brahmins, use the other caste to stop the Nadan from going into the temple. The reason because they were dealing with alcohol, what you call toddy. Now, I just want to bring it to you about this Nadan community, how prospering and successful they are. Keep in mind, when I was telling you about the business, they own all the schools and colleges and engineering colleges. And now, though they own all these colleges and schools, they never stop a caste like a Nair or someone like some other caste from Tamil Nadu. You can't come into my school and study because you're not my caste. No, the door is open to them. They open the door to everybody. It can be any caste, upper, so-called upper, so-called lower. There's no caste at all. As a human being, keep in mind, God created, the Bible says beautifully, God created everybody in his own image. So there's nobody is a head and nobody is a tail. If a Brahmin says that he's a head, it's stupidity. Don't believe that. If you believe in a religion that says Brahmin is upper caste and everybody is a lower caste, don't follow that religion. Ayavali religion is a beautiful Indian religion. It's not a Hindu religion. The founder is Vaihunda, is a Nadan as well. What he did was in the 19th century, a lot of persecution against the Nadars and the other poor community, poor caste. He decided enough is enough. We don't need to follow a religion which teaches hatred among people. He started this beautiful religion, Ayavali. If you see this religion, it talks about equality. And in the temple, you don't have to be a Brahmin to do the ritual. Anyone can go and do the ritual. You can start your own temple and you can do your ritual. And everybody was allowed into the temple. So my question is he a forward caste? Is he a royal? Or someone who says you are a lower caste, you can come into the temple? You just think about it. So I think Ayavali, he comes from the Nadan family and he's a royal and he's the one who removed casteism completely out of the temple and actually he brought freedom to a lot of people. I know Dravida Kalagam, like Ivera period, did a lot of things for people, for the Tamil community, but whoever does good things for the Nadan community, I'm going to explain to you step by step. So this was Ayavali, Vaihunda, who brought liberty and freedom for the Nadan community. Secondly, you might have heard about evangelist called missionary called Ringeltobe. He's a German missionary. He came to Tirunelveli, Kanyakumari border area, and he spoke about his religion, Christianity. And the Northern community saw, God, we need a footing. We need to stand and we need to come out. There should be a way. And this was a way the door was open to them, just like the Jews. Like the Jews were very successful. King David was the most powerful king, and then came his son Solomon, extremely powerful, the most wealthy king. However, he committed a lot of sins. He had around 1,000 concubines. He was the richest king ever lived on this earth. He had more gold, diamond, and silver, and then gold, diamond, and silver and pearls than any other kings. Was so successful, but he went against God and he did a lot of negative things. And then what happened? His kingdom got completely gone to pieces. It's the same way that was happened to the Northern kingdom. There's a lot of internal fights, a lot of problems, like power struggle. That was the cause of the Northern kingdom coming down in 1530 AD. I'll talk about it very soon. Now, the Jews actually suffered a lot, and they became slaves for 400 years in Egypt. But there was one man, Moses, he was a prophet, and he was there to bring them back. He brought redemption, and he brought them back to Israel. And now look at them. They're the most prospering community in the whole world. And the same thing, evangelist Ringeltobe was one of the main reasons for bringing advancement to the Nadar community. Every Nadan decided to convert to Christianity. And then the Kadakal and the Kala, who were actually serving for these masters, they all became Christians as well. So it's a huge population. Now, if you see in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, 60% of the population are Christians. And then you have 32% of Hindus. That includes Ayavali as well. Ayavali, as well as it is a beautiful religion, which is formed by Ayavali Vaikundar. And he is also worshipped as a deity. He's a god. And millions of people in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, Karnataka, and northern India, and outside India, they come and worship him. Now, as what I said to you, he's a deity, he's a god, he's worshipped. My question is, how many people worship this Nambudiri or Nair or someone? Nobody. But there is someone who worshiping a Nadan, not someone, millions of them worship. So we can say this Nadan community is a very advanced, successful, prospering community like the Jewish community. Everything you see come by the Jews and the Nada. There's a lot of similarity. Persecution was there, suffering was there. So Nadas were just like, I can give an example. When you go into a classroom, there are 40 students, and you are one of the best students. And then someone gets very jealous of you and start fighting with you. And then what happened? He tried to form a group of average students. So it's very easy to get people to come against a good student. And suddenly the whole classroom goes against the best student. And then the best student cannot be in the classroom. He has to move on. And the same thing happened to the Nadar community. They were there. They ruled the southern India for years. They built all those temples, fascinating temples in southern India. And then one day what happened? Things changed. Brahminism came. And the Nayakar kingdom came because there was internal fight that was a cause for the downfall of the Nadan empire. And then this Brahminism, Nayakar, they all joined together. And what they did was a couple of things. They didn't allow them to go into the temple because they were selling alcohol. Thirdly, the Nayakar community decided to annihilate, remove all the Nada from this earth. Now again, Ringeltobe was a Christian evangelist. He helped millions of Christians, Nadas, to come out of that horrible hatred and aversion towards the caste. And then this beautiful Muslim community, they helped the Nadan community as well. What happened was when Nayakar went and told the Muslims to drown all those Nada community, Nadas in the sea, drown them in the sea, the Muslims didn't do that. But many Nadas became Muslims. And you know what they did? They protect them and send them to Sri Lanka. Now, if we see the Muslims there, they're all of the Nadan blood. They're very successful businessmen, but they hate the Hindu community. The hatred is always there. So keep in mind, it's not the Hindus people. You know, some of the Hindus are with part of the BJP and all that. They didn't actually help you to grow because of this evangelist Ringeltobe, because of this Muslim priest. And also because of this Ayavali, which is Vaigunda, who started his beautiful religion. And all these three joined together and brought you guys out, just like the phoenix that came out of the ashes. You came out. I know you struggled for 150, 180 years. You didn't struggle like the Jews who suffered for 400 years, but you did struggle. But keep in mind, you had a great history. You come from a royal family, and also you've gone back to the same position. Now, if you see the Nadan community, if you see the anything related to sports, actually, the best sportsmen, if you have a look, the tennis players, Anand Madaraj and Vijay Madaraj, were the best tennis players in India. Where? Not now, those days. And his son, sorry, and his younger brother, Ashok Madaraj, was the Wimbledon champion, junior Wimbledon champion as well. They're Nadars from Tirunelveli district. Now, they all moved to California. Now, I'm going to tell a few things about these people. Now, these brothers are very successful in California, and Ashok Madaraj, actually, he is the president of Hyatt Events Entertainment in Hollywood, and his daughter, Priya, I think her name is Priya, she's also the vice president. Now, Ashok Madaraj has taken 100 Hollywood movies with a revenue of 2 billion US dollars. So wherever they go, there is dollars there. Amazing, they make money. And also, going back to the 17th century, I want to talk to you at the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th century as well, and to make sure you understand the Nadan community. So, though there were sufferings in certain areas, but Nadas were flourishing on the other side. 1750 AD, the Martandavarman king in South Travancore has to face a huge enemy, which the Dutch coming through the Kolachal harbor. Now, at that time, Ananda Padmanabhan Nadan was the chief commanding army officer of the Martandavarman king. But also keep in mind, this Martandavarman king, he became the king just because of Ananda Padmanabhan as well, Padmanabhan Nadan as well. Now, when the Dutch were coming, the king was worried, and he told him, "We need an army." What did Ananda Padmanabhan Nadan do? He selected a Nadan army. The Nadan army were comprised of Natati Nadan, Karakapattai Nadan, and Male Nadan. These three are in Kanyakumari district as well. The Agasthiswaram area is called a lot of Natati Nadan. They are very tough people. They can stand 1 and fight 10. They're like tigers. You know, you might have heard recently about karate, Salvin and all that. He comes from Maladi, a place in Kanyakumari district. They're very strong people and are very wealthy people as well. I know a gentleman, Jivanayagam. He was 75 years old when he had a fight with a soldier, and he's knocked him down in 2 minutes. Tough and strong, extremely wealthy. Jivanayagam owns hundreds and hundreds of acres of paddy field and coconut grove. His ancestors, they all, from the Natati Nadan family. So they were actually one of the main groups that joined with the Ananda Padmanabhan Nadan. And then we have this Male Nadan, they from Kulaserapatnam, Palliadi, Harangal, those areas. They had the groups. And what Ananda Padmanabhan Nadan did was he asked all they called those days were called Ashan, Vaidyan. They are very well trained in fights and sword fights and stick fights. And also they are trained doctors. Because if you know that in those days, to be a royal, to have a kingdom, you need to have slaves. That's why they had this Kadakal and Kala. They need to have soldiers. That's what they call Vaidya. And they are trained in Kalari fight, Dimore. And the last one, they should be astronomers, because they always go in the sea for trade and fights and war. So this Nadan community is comprised of all of them. So this guy, Ananda Padmanabhan Nadan, has got all these people in his hand. So he organized 1,000 Vaidyan, and these 1,000 Vaidyans, many hundred people learned art from him, martial arts from him. So they all came, they formed a gang ready to fight. So you got all these Karakapattai Nadan, Natati Nadan, Male Nadan, going against the Dutch. Now, Natati Nadan, I just want to say one thing about the Ananda Padmanabhan Nadan. He's not only just a warrior, he's an intellect. He used his intellect, and he said to the Vaidyan, "I want thousands of bullock carts. And you bring the carts and put them in front of the sea. park them in front of the sea, and then cut all the palmyra tree and put them at the top of the cart. So they did exactly what he said. And now when the Dutch were coming, they saw this cart with that palmyra tree as war equipment, what they call in their country called beeling. And they all got panicked and they retrieved and went back. Later on, many of them came back as well, but they were all captured and taken over. And that's the power of the Ananda Padmanabha in the 1750th century. Then in the 18th century, this I really want to clarify with all the naysayers of the Tamil Nadu people and the Malayali people, that 18th century they said the Nadar women cannot cover the bosom and they were not allowed to do it. The only women who can cover are the Nambudiri priests, their wives, they can cover. Nobody else. So if you come from Tamil Nadu or from Andhra, Karnataka, and you come here, if you try to cover your bosom, and you'll be killed. Okay, so it's not an ardent community. Make it very clear. Everyone should know in Tamil Nadu that some stupidity is going on. That's not our women have to cover the bosom. It's not. Anyone who lives in that area, in that kingdom, anyone comes to live in that kingdom has to abide by the law of the king. Got it? Now, this woman, Nadar woman, in the 18th century, she decided, because she come from the Nadan royal family, she decided enough is enough. I'm ready to give my life to remove that shame. She put on her clothes, she covered herself, sat in the bus. 3 men came. The king's men came and said, "You're not supposed to do it. You have to remove." She said, "No, doesn't matter what happens. I don't care." They took a knife and stabbed her and killed her. There was about to be a big revolt, but the British said, enough is enough. She is a powerful woman. She's a hero. And then we go back to Vaikunta in the 19th century. You know, like Vivekananda was so upset. He was a monk, Hindu monk. He watched what was happening in the Kerala Travancore kingdom. And he said that these fellows are lunatics. And very soon they're going to lose all the people. They're going to go to other religion. He saw that. And he also said, these people are so intelligent and very powerful people, but they have been pushed by the soldiers and the military and they were crushed. And now you could see that things are going to change very soon. And exactly what he predicted, most of them became Christians and a lot of them became Muslims. So now, so we got the 1750 Ananda Padmanabhan. He proved he was a royal. Second thing, this lady, Nadan lady, she gave her life so that every woman can cover her bosom. She's a Nadan woman. And then we're going to see about Vaikunta. He's a Nadan. He started his own church now, own temple. Now, millions of people around India and also people in other parts of the world worship him because he's a deity. He's a god. Don't you think so? Nadan are so powerful, so successful. You should be proud to be a Nadan when you watch this video. Step by step, I'm going to explain to you. So that's the third one. And the fourth one, in the 18th century, you know what happened? This gentleman, Vellayan Nadan, he was actually the richest man in Madras presidency. When the British were ruling, he was the richest man in the Madras presidency. He owned all the distilleries. The Madras presidency is not just Tamil Nadu. It's not. It's comprised of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala. Sorry, Karnataka, Kerala. Out of all the 5 states, the richest man. Now the richest man, Shiv Nadar. Those days, the richest and the most powerful, Raja Chola, Rajendra Chola, from the same kingdom. Now, Vellayan Nadan, he had 7,000 acres of land in the Kaveri belt. 7,000 acres of paddy field, the most fertile. Have you ever seen anyone having that much? No. He's an Nadan. When the British auctioned 2 of the Danish ships, Vellayan Nadan bought those 2 ships. And at the same time, a Muslim trader in Pumbuga, he also sold his ship. So this Nadan, Vellayan Nadan bought 3 ships and all the three ships trading in the Southeast Asian Ocean, just like the great grandfather Raja Cholan and Rajendra Cholan had the ship sailing towards Malaysia, Indonesia, and other parts of the Asian country. And his son, Tavasimuthinadan, he built a palace in Vallam in Tanjore for the British royals. They were collectors, they wanted to stay in a nice place. He built a palace. And in the 18th century, he built schools for the kids to go to school, hospital, so people can go get treated. He, with the help of the British government, opened a railway system. His brother, Punuswami Nadar, also actively involved in that. And you are saying that Nadan is a poor community that just Palmyra climbers, they just, everybody look down upon them, they can't go into the temple. Don't you think that's stupidity? He was a Jamindar. They gave him the name Zamindar, but the British gave the name, and they were the richest people. As the history is written in the 18th century, it's only 220 years ago. And 270 years ago, we have this Ananda Padmanabh Nadar. But my question for this Nadan community is, in Kanyakumari district, you have Vivekananda Rock for Vivekananda. He's a monk, he's a scholar, he's a Hindu leader. He should have one, no doubt about that. You had Thiruvalluvar, the tallest statue. You need to have one. He's the great Tamil poet. His Thirukkural been translated into 26 languages. My question for you, have you got a statue for Ananda Padmanabh Nadar, a hero of the Nadan community from the royal family? You haven't. Have you got a massive statue for Vaikunta? No. Have you got a good statue for one of those Muslim priests who brought you up to that level? Have you got a statue for Ringal? No. You forget about those things. That's a problem with you. It's about you all the time. And that's a distraction for the Nadan community. You have to come together. Nadan, keep in mind, now it's called Nadar community. Doesn't matter. You can be Kadakal or Kala. You're one community, Nadars. I know it's still the Nadan won't marry with the Kala and Kadakal because of the blood. They feel there's not from other caste. But still, they are one family. The Nadan community helped them in every way. And also, the Kadakal and Kala still serve for the Nadan family. 1,000 years now almost. It's amazing people they are. So my question is, Nadars has to do a lot. They have to come together. Don't say that he's a Hindu, you're a Muslim, he's a Muslim Nadar, or a Christian Nadar, or a Hindu Nadar, or a Ayavadi Nadar. You are one people. Blood is thicker than water. Religion, you can practice any religion. Religion that if it makes you happy, follow that religion. If the religion is not making you happy, it is not giving you what you want, then what you do, you go and find something else. But you can't change your blood. The blood is always the same. And also, I've noticed many times, we're talking to a lot of Christian Nadars, and they say the same thing to me now. When they could find a Christian Nadar in that area of the Nadan blood, they always look for a Hindu Nadar because they want the blood to be pure. They don't go and say, this is a Kala, the Kadaka. I know they love them so much, but they don't want to marry from there because they keep the blood pure. You might have seen that Nadar. How many Nadars Christian Nadars go and marry a Velala, Ayer, or someone? No, they won't. They want to keep the blood so pure for generations. Now, also I want to say about this Nadan community. 1,000 years ago, the Pandya dynasty, the king sent his daughter, Sembavalam, to Korea. Those days, no South Korea, Korea. He gave his daughter to Prince Sura, and they got married. And now there are 6 million Koreans with that blood. So your blood, Nadan blood, keep in mind, is there in Korea. 6 million. 500 words that lady Sembavalam has taught the Korean prince, and that in the palace, 500 Tamil words. A Korean professor has researched and put everything together. And they did a movie a couple of years ago. Simbawala, her name is. The king sent her with 100 slaves from the Kadakal and Kalla and 25 soldiers to be with her. Now, the Koreans are very good in pearl hunting, just like the Pandya kingdom, very good in pearl hunting. Even now, the Kanyakumari district, the Nadars and the fishermen community work in Saudi Arabia. When it comes to deep sea fishing, there's nobody can beat them. So everything. So we spoke about the 17th century with Anandapatnam Nadan. We spoke about the 18th century with Velai Nadan. And then he spoke about the 19th century with the Vaigunda Nadan. And also the 18th century, we spoke about the lady, the Nadan women who got freedom for all the women. And in the 21st century, 2020, end of the 20th century, we had Marshal Nesamani. He was the first Tamil tiger. And now we had Prabhakaran, but Nesamani, Marshal Nesamani was the first Tamil tiger. He fought with the Kerala government. They had guns, but he fought with sword and knives and sticks. Quite a lot of Nadas died because of the gunshot. But every Nada said, this blood, I'm ready to shed my blood, but this Kanyakumari district will go to Tamil Nadu because we are Tamils. Kamaraj was the chief minister at the time. Kamaraj is a great guy, but he was not actually into a caste system. He was not a caste man. He was a freedom fighter. He loved people. There was one example, like in the 21st century, when he was the chief minister, he's another Nadan as well. I want to tell you about him, how good he is. He didn't do anything for the Nada people, but keep that in mind. The Nada stood on the feet and it came up. And they got a lot of support from the Muslims on one side. They had the support of the Ringal Tobe, the missionary. Then you have support from Mayavali, Vaigunda. They all came up like that. Kamaraj didn't do much. Now, Kamaraj was the chief minister, and he decided to open 2,000 schools in Tamil Nadu. So Rajaji came and asked him, he was the finance minister, I think, why do you want to open all the schools? Everybody should go do the job what the caste is supposed to do. So Kamaraj asked him, so what is your cost and what you're going to do? And when this Rajaji said this, Kamaraj thought, okay, now is the best time. I'm not going to open 2,000 schools. I'm going to open 20,000 schools. And also, I'm going to start a midday meal. So the kids during lunchtime, they can eat and they can stay in school. And when they go home, they want to come back, but there is food in the school. So 20,000 schools he opened. That's the beauty of Kamaraj. So just to let you know, wherever the Nadas go, prosperity goes along with them. Blessing goes along with them. Kanyakumari district is the most educated district. When I say education, it's got 94% education. But when I say education, not the literacy we hear in Kerala state and other states. It's education. People are good who are educated in software, doctors, lawyers, accountants, every sort of education. Neuroscientist, neurologist, anesthetist, cancer specialists, professors, lecturers, everything. Every house has got one person in the United States or Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or somewhere they live. And wherever they go, they are prosperous, they're blessed. Kanyakumari district is a very blessed district because of the Nada population there. The land is a gold mine. It's a gold. Kanyakumari district, we can call it a gold mine of India. The land is gold. If you open a jewelry shop in India, most of the district you go, as a shop will sell around 500,000 rupees, which is in Indian money is 5 lakhs, I believe. In Kanyakumari district, a shop will sell for 50 lakhs, which is 5 million each shop. Then only they call it a jewelry store. That's the beauty of Kanyakumari district. So wealthy, so successful. They all want. They have beautiful jobs. They have. They own land. Land is a gold mine, as what I said. So then you go to next Tirunelveli district. It's called Oxford of India. The Nadas are so educated there. Most of them in Cyberham, Nazareth. They're all in the United States. They belong to a church called Seventh-day Adventists. Many of them, and they're all in states. Extremely successful. Ashok Anandam, they are part of the group. Then you go to Sivagashi. It's called Kuti. They call it I think Kuti, small Japan. They call small Japan. And it's one of the most richest districts. They make firecrackers exported all over the world, printing exported all over the world, newspaper all over Tamil Nadu, social media, everything. So wherever they go, now they are in Madras city, is so prospering because of them. And then we go to Coimbatore, it's called Manchester because they have a big part to play. Go to Tiruchirappalli, you'll be shocked to see the Nada community. You go to Salem, you go to shock. You go to Trivandrum district, you'll be shocked. You go to Koilon, you go to Kottayam, they have medical colleges, they got everything. They are so successful in everything they do. And they are a blessing. So if they're living next to you, though, it's a blessing, not a curse. Keep that in mind. And don't try to go against them because it will be a curse for you. They are a blessed race, just like the Jews. 3 universities owned by Nadars. The engineering college in Madras city owned by Shiv Nada. I think, sorry, there are 2 universities. And then one massive university, Karunya University, owned by Dr. Dinegaran. It's one of the biggest universities with the 150 or 300, 400 faculties. So many faculties there in 700 acres of land, massive area. And then we have one in Delhi, owned by Shiv Nada, around 289 acres of land. And he also owns schools in Aurangabad and everything. Poor kids can go and get free education. That's the beauty of this Nada community. Now, they also have a bank, Mercantile Bank. Used to call Nada Bank, now they changed to Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank. A year ago, Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister of India, came and did a presentation on the 100th anniversary of the bank. She said the DNA of the Nadas are very different from others. And she mentioned, she didn't say that, 1,000 years ago, Herodotus, the Greek writer and historian, spoke about this Nadan community. He said the same thing. They're the most intelligent, valiant warriors, seafarers, astronomers, and they taught how to write in the palmyra leaves. They taught how to bury the dead. They also traded spices and everything those days. And above all, not only they sold toddy, the alcohol, they also used the toddy as a chemical to preserve dead bodies. They called mummies. And they taught them how to do it. And Herodotus said this, they are the most intelligent people. And 1,000 years later, and Nirmala Sitharaman, a Brahmin woman, said the same thing. The Nadas have a great DNA, which is different from other people. So there's so many things I can go on and on. The Hudson ice cream, if you see, is one of the tastes. I've traveled all over the world. I've never seen ice cream, the cassata and whatever that he makes. I don't know where he gets the intelligence. They're always at the peak, whatever they do, right at the top. Saravana Bhavan. You go to America, you go to New York, you go to Australia, you go to New Zealand, you go anywhere to Britain. Saravana Bhavan, everywhere. And the food is so tasty. Saravana stores, very famous. The entertainment centers, not only in California I was talking about, if you see Madras City, Oriental, Queensland, VJP, all owned by Nadas. Look at the real estate industry, massively growing because of the Nadas. Whatever they touch turns to gold. But I just want to finish off with one thing. Because I was doing a lot of research, a lot of people ask me, hey, there's a question about in Kerala, are the Nayas a superior caste, are the Nadas superior caste? But the Nayas always say they're superior and the Nadas are backward caste, they are Palmyra climbers. But actually, as I explained clearly, Nadas are not Palmyra climbers. The Nadan, they make 60% of the population of the royal family, and only the 40% of them, the Kadakal and Kalla, they were the Palmyra climbers. Now, doesn't matter, they're part of the same family, Nada family. Now, the question was, is Nada superior or the Naya superior? And they also told me, after reading a lot of information of the old Nayar history and the Nadar history, they could see Nadas are mostly from the Nadar, they come from a royal family. Nayas also, they come from looks like we've got a wealthy family. But he said, the two things he was not very happy to hear. And the first thing he said was, when in Nayar family, the eldest son marries a woman, and the same marries a girl, I'm sorry, and she can also be a wife to the other brothers as well. But it doesn't happen in Nada family because of the royalty. They keep the royalty so pure. The women are treated like goddess. So there's a lot of difference between those two community. And the second thing is also one more thing about the Nambudhiris. They're not very good people. The Brahmins didn't allow the Nadars to go into the temple because they were into alcohol, toddy. But these Nambudhiris can go into any Nair family those days and sleep with any woman there, irrespective of age, married or single or whatever it is. And when they have a child, it becomes like a tamburan, something they call, and they call a Prakash. And we can't die. Can we ever do that to go to another Patman family and do something like that? No. So I don't know which is upper caste, lower caste. I think in the Western world, we feel the Nadan, no doubt they are the upper caste. But I believe in India, with the Indian culture and with the way of thinking, Naya may be upper caste because they feel Nambudiri is a Brahmin. I don't know. You take, because this is in the modern world. So if you have any questions, you can answer the social media as well. So there's nothing bad about anything because those are past. And if even now, Roshni Nada, the richest woman in India, the richest woman in India. Every time somebody says about Nada, someone will come up and say, oh, they were 100 years ago, they were poor, they were climbing trees and all that. But I'm going to tell those people, naysayers, what was your father doing or your grandmother doing? Are you begging in the street or cleaning toilets? When you're talking about Nana who is climbing a tree, that's a royal profession. Somebody to climb a tree, 40-meter high tree, you need to have strength, upper arm strength, mental strength. You should be from the warrior caste. You should be serving the Nadan community, definitely. We tried to ask a Nambudiri to climb a Palmara tree. He could climb 5 feet and he slipped 20 feet below with shit in his pants. That's the difference. They are a rough, tough community, man. And there are a lot of good leaders that are coming up from the Nadan community. Somebody like Shailendra Babu. So look at the police department. The best police DGP we had in Tamil Nadu, I don't say we, you guys had, sorry. You had Walter Devaram, you had IG Arul, IG Devasahayam, IG Newton Devasahayam, and now we have Shailendra Babu. They're all good looking fellows, strong, healthy, intelligent. They are a role model to the society. Am I right? And there are other people, I don't know, there's a lot of Hindu Nadas as well, but I haven't got many of the names. I got a few of the names, Bhaskaran and quite a few of them. So you know it. And the Nadas always dominate, whether DMK, ADMK, they dominate. Now, the Nadas didn't get any support from any government. Some of the castes are coming up because of the government. And also Tamil Nadu as a whole, we say, one of the most horrendous, corrupt government. And the chief ministers are horrible. They corrupt to the core. Embarrassing for the Tamil people to talk about the chief minister. But now we had one good chief minister, Kamaraj was, he was not a chief minister. He was the father of the nation. He was a great man. When he died, he had only $150 in the bank and also 4 shirts he had. That's all he had when he died. And if you see the chief minister, I don't want to mention those names. Man, they are so corrupt. Some of them had to pay $300-400 million back to the Indian government. I'm sure it might have gone to the Tamil Nadu government. I hope the fellows didn't cheat. But recently, we had some good ministers. After Karnataka's time, we had some good ministers. Jayalalitha was bad. She said a couple of truth as well. And a lot of people say that she's not a Tamil. She's a 100% pure Tamil Iyengar Brahmin of Tiruchirappalli. Her grandparents, parents, everyone born, brought up in Tiruchirappalli, but they moved to Bangalore later on. She became an actress, and they say she's a Kannadiga. She's not. She's a pure Tamil. And she told the first chief minister to say, not Kamaraj. If Kamaraj says, oh, he's a Nadan, he said. She said, a Brahmin lady, Iyengar, Nadars are the descendants of the Chera, Chola, Pandya kingdom. Because Pandyan were the main kingdom. From there, it splits the Chera and Chola. One side went to Western Ghats, the Andhra Nadan side, and the other side went to Natati Nadan side, which is the Vellayanada, those ancestors. So he said, and she said, sorry. The second one I want to mention, Paneer Selvam, he's another chief minister. He's a great guy. And they are recently, I don't know what happened, some beautiful chief ministers came. They're not corrupt. And he said, he from a Tevar community, and he said the same thing. The Nadas were the descendants of the Chera, Chola, Pandya community. Now, I believe Stalin. Stalin is a great chief minister because he's very modern in his way of thinking. He's not into this corrupt thing. He's not money minded. He's there to help people. He's also watching all those fellows who are corrupt. And social media is the same time watching as well. And he knows it. And at the same time, his heart is good. And he should say that the Nadars were the descendants of the Chera Chola dynasty because they contributed so much to this society. Wherever they go, they prosper, they make people successful, they open schools. You know, there's a gentleman who went to Mumbai, and when he went there, actually, he didn't have anything. They call him the Godfather, one of the Godfathers, Theravim Nada. And you know what he did? Everyone would do collect money and do things and killing and all that. This Godfather, he opened a school for the people in that slum area. He opened a school, not for the Nadas only, everybody. That's the beauty of the Nadan community. Education is the first thing. The reason, because if you see Nada history, the kings built so many temples in Tanjore, Kumbakonam, wherever they went, they built temples. Temple was not a place of just for prayer. No, it was a place of learning, art, dance, literature. And the same thing, the descendants of the Nadan dynasty, building the same schools, same colleges, same institutions, same universities, medical institutions, hotels, motels, wedding halls, and everything, and bringing education into people's life. It doesn't matter who you are. They just help people. It's a beautiful community. Don't ever talk bad about this Nadan community. If you are a Nadan watching this video, pass it on to every single person because you come from a Nadan family. You are a royal. Keep your royalty. Couple of things you need to do before I finish it. One, dress up nicely. Don't just wear your white khadi, dhoti, Gandhi, Kamaraj. No, you're not. You come from a Raja Cholan family. Dress up neat, tidy. You're well educated, beautiful. You're high level of business, beautiful. Dress up nicely. And above all, make sure evening comes, go to the gym, build your muscles. Because your ancestors, they're all in kalari fight, they're all Nadimura, sword fight, stick fight. Are you doing it? Nowadays, you don't need to do that. You need to build your body and go into boxing. I believe that Kanyakumari district should have 100,000 bodybuilders and fighters. Trivandrum district, Kollam district, Tuticorin, Tirunelveli, Virudhunagar, Tenkasi, all those areas, Madras city, all the cities where the Nadas live. But please create 100,000 bodybuilders. Look at Sarat Kumar and Kamraj Nadar. Both were movie stars. Kamraj Nada, I think, is around 6 foot or more. He served the military and now he's a movie star. He was Mr. India. And Sarath Kumar was Mr. Madras. Sarath Kumar is 68 years old, but look at his body. He's like a 35-year-old. See him as a role model. And if you are skinny in the younger age of 20, 25, go to the gym, build your body nicely. Eat good food. Meat is good. Beef is good. Chicken, lamb, good. Eat fish. Build your muscles. Learn boxing. People should know when you walk, you are a Nada. And give your children the name Nada because that's a pride. Shiv Nada, the name Nada shines everywhere. Ashok Amadraj and this Nadan community in California and New York, it shines everywhere. Hospitals, Mercy hospitals. The head is a Nadan from Nagarkoil. I met him quite a while ago. Everybody. You know, the best teachers. Oman had the best teacher, John Moshe Dayan. There's nobody like him. He does voiceover. He teaches. He's a motivation speaker. He helps the girls to come up, to become the best. John Simon, Joint Secretary, Meta Secretariat, a great officer, honest, opposite of corruption. What if they can do it? You can also be the best in what you do. If you are an Nadan, prove yourself in something because life is short. You have one life, and make sure be the very best in what you do.